yeah.
This is from my new album. Woke up this morning.
Yes.
And I looked outside. And there was some snow coming down everywhere. I got the...
Wow.
I got the...
You prepared
Snow and May blues.
You really prepared.
Lord, yes, I said. And the snow's coming down. A bleed. Yes, it is. Oh, Lord. And here comes a solo.
Yes. Dude, you are shredding over there. Whoa. Is that a Robert Johnson over there?
Ooh, look at
Have you sold your goddamn soul? I never heard a boy play the guitar like that. That's great.
Boy, you sold your ever-loving soul. Boy, it's good to have me back, isn't it? Goodness sakes.
Sure is.
Boy,
I was going to say,
everybody.
that's the most exciting way to start the podcast, basically just talking about the weather.
Yeah.
That's essentially what just happened.
It's a doggone electronal revelation over here. It's an anomaly of the weather patterns. Boy, sorry everybody that there was no episode last week. Because
there was an episode.
Oh no, but when we're both not on there couldn't have been an Inconeco because I wasn't around. So yeah, there was definitely nothing that uploaded last Monday. Nothing at all. We just had to skip an entire week. Well, what are you up to, Andy? Your album is out now. Except we're recording this in the past.
As of, the release, it'll be out. But so we're recording this the day before. Actually, it is 7 p.m. on a Thursday, and it is going to be released digitally in 3 hours. So...
Hell yeah!
I'm gonna stay up and watch it go live on Spotify and iTunes and all the places.
So what's the logic behind that coming out at 10 p.m. the night before?
I think it's basically so it lines up at midnight East Coast. So the first,
gotcha.
So it's whenever it first turns Friday in the U.S. is when it comes out. I think that's just a guess.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, if anyone doesn't know at this point, lowercasenoises.com.
Get it on the web.
I make music and record it and release it. That's the thing I do.
Here's a little, this is a riff from one of your songs.
Uh-huh. Yeah, go for it. Totally.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's
sad.
a little longer than that.
Right.
Here,
I don't have my delay hooked up.
Okay. Well, I've got my guitar right here. Here, I'll play that. What you were trying to do. Here's how it actually goes. No, hold on.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. Hold it. Okay, there. That's it. That's one of the songs on my new album.
Inconeco, the show where you'll always get guitar chords played at least once per episode every time.
Okay.
Man, Andy, I know you don't care. I begin a lot of sentences with you lately saying that, and maybe it's not true, but I just try to give you a little cushion of.
I'm bored.
Hey, I know I'm passionate about this, but I'm almost done with the 4th book in the Familiar series, and damn, this. So there's a
Mark
book series
Z. Danielewski.
Yep, Familiar. It's a 27-volume extravaganza.
That's still just, whenever you mention that to me, it sounds so insane. And I mean, honestly, a little pretentious. I'm sure they're good, but it's just you're planning on putting out 27 novels in this series? That's insane. They're insane.
Fantastic.
I believe
they're so good. Worth a read, I'd say.
I know. I know.
Anyway, but I just so they only come out about every 6 months or so.
which is still insane.
because he's still actively writing them and putting them together. But
Okay, so there's 4 of them out currently.
right.
4 of these 27 books, and how long are them on average?
Well, so pages, all of them are exactly 880 pages, but
And there's that weird ass shit that he does with
so
things.
the text itself, you're only reading about a 250 page book, so it's a normal sized novel,
So it just flies by.
spread out. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is kind of one of the weird pleasures of reading it too, is you're turning pages really fast, and even the layout on the page kind of dictates how swiftly you're reading. And there's it's just a whole experience. And I just want to, I think I've plugged that on this show before, but I just want to say The Familiar by Mark Z. Danielewski. Just go to your local library or bookstore and pick one up and just flip through it. And then you'll be like, oh, wow, I see what Josh means. This is not an ordinary book. And then dive in. And it's hard, but it's worth the effort. He pays it off. It's definitely challenging, but
Great.
so there it is. Mark, come on our show. MZD.
Yeah. When are we going to get more guests on our show? That's your job.
Hey, I've been working on that. I'll tell you what. That's
Please.
true. I feel I was thinking about this week. I feel like we're losing momentum a little bit in a weird way.
Yeah.
But not as in my desire to do this show has not gone away at all.
Right.
But it's for whatever reason, it was like we were knocking them out at the beginning. And lately I've just been in touch with, a handful of people, some of whom have said yes and then never reply to, like it's scheduling.
And
so,
I know you love that. You just love that so much.
I really like not being responded to. It just makes me feel valuable and like a human. It makes me feel good. But yeah, it's been tough. I almost wish we had a little intern or something to reach out to people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's discouraging for me because I feel like we're not providing the best stuff we can without guests, but that's probably not true. But anyway, just know everybody, we're trying. I'm trying actually. Andy doesn't do shit.
Right. Well,
on that,
listen, if the edit on this podcast sounds good, if the mics sound good,
oh yeah,
that was me.
That's all
boys
you.
And girls.
Right.
But okay, how about this though? And we've sort of talked about it, but not really, is I don't know what this show is, really.
Mm-hmm.
It's because what I don't want to be is 2 guys who think they have really interesting conversations. So interesting, in fact, that like hundreds of other people should listen to it, which is just...
We don't think that.
The most boring thing you could ever do as a white male. So I just don't know. How about this, Josh? What are we doing here on this podcast? What are we doing? Because I don't even know how to like tell somebody what this is. It's like I talked to my friend and then we put it out. Give me your synopsis.
I think it's changed and it continues to change. And
which is good.
Like 10 or 12 episodes ago, I think we even touched on this, but at the start it was like, okay, we want a platform to talk to all our heroes, or at least that's how I kind of viewed it. Like, and then it was amazing that we actually got Bazan, we got guys from Dredge and Circa and all that, which is exciting. And I want more of that to happen. But now, I don't know, Joel Stanley was kind of I just realized entrepreneurs can be really interesting. Sometimes people just have unique life stories. Dave Mantell, I know he's a musician, but his personal story was really good, just really intriguing, and he was so open about it. So I don't know. I just want to talk to a wide span of people and learn more about life and get interesting things and continue to explore ourselves, or process out loud how we are navigating life.
Right.
So that's how I think of it.
Totally. And I feel like there's certain themes I always go towards. Even just thinking about it now, I think if I had to distill it down, it's just like literally any human being that's pursuing anything else or just, not even creative, it's just like the majority of people in the world probably have something interesting to say and talk about. Like, but the guy who just has a, cubicle job and then comes home and eats dinner and some chips and goes to bed and doesn't really care about it. That's not a person I'm interested in talking to, but it's
so one of our listeners is going to be like, hey, that's me.
Hey, damn it. Well, I hope you're not one of those people who should be striving to not be in a cubicle. Anyway, I mean, that's
nothing
really
wrong with
all
cubicles.
That's pretty bad. Let's be real. I don't think I've ever worked in a cubicle, though. I'm trying to think.
Nor food service.
No, I've never done customer
both.
Service
or
food service.
Anyway, I know what you mean. Just most people have interesting perspectives, is what you're saying.
And as alongside that is I feel like there are things I've taken from people we've talked to that are very valuable to me. Yeah. And it's just valuable to say things out loud that are in my head and they kind of come together as I'm saying them. So if nothing else, like the fact that there's an audience kind of isn't the point to me. It's like, this is a little bit of therapy for me and learning. And I like that. So but the entertainment part of it, I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. Should we even be talking about this right now? I don't know what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Okay.
I have learned, I know what I wanted to mention, but which I will in a sec. But I don't know, over time I've just learned to not overthink it, because sometimes when we do hit record, without even realizing, I tense up because I'm like, now I'm presenting something. Now this is going to be recorded and go out to people. Right. And
you set up your PowerPoint in the conference room and you've got to wow the bosses.
Well, a little bit. Yeah. It's like, I want every episode to be a home run, and it just isn't. And even some of the ones that feel so crummy or boring to me end up being the ones people email us about and are like, loved it. But I was going to say, so Joel Stanley, again, who was on our show, was recently on Pete Holmes, which you and I both listened to. Yes. And I texted you that I was like, damn, that Pete Holmes, he is so freaking comfortable. Yeah. And I mean, being in the room with Joel, I know you weren't there, but it's just, I don't know.
I didn't even think about that, because I texted back. I was like, well, he was like in person and stuff. I didn't like, you were in person with him too. I didn't even think about that. That's funny. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, just so the concept I'm getting at is that when I step in to talk with a guest, especially one that I don't know, which has been the majority of our guests, I think, but it's just like, I want, of course, to be respectful to them. I want them to know they're not stepping into some goofy ass show where we're going to embarrass them or something. Right. But I think that over preparation or over being too aware of it makes me set aside parts of myself. Sure. Whereas I won't say the jokes that occur to me, because I don't want to be too silly with this new person I've just met. And Pete, I mean, he's done it for a lot longer. He's older than us, and he's a comedian. I think for a lot of reasons, he's just more seasoned in this, but he gets on and he's just so silly, but he almost always gets his guests laughing and just, really eases the tension in the room. And I just, all that to say, I want to get better at this. I want to get better at interviewing and just being like, fuck it, I'm saying that silly joke that comes into my head, and maybe it'll tank, or maybe it'll be the funniest thing all night. I don't know.
And Pete is the king of that. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah.
And I wonder if that bleeds over or comes from how, because I mean, that's got to come from how you act not on mic.
For sure.
I don't think Pete is that different on mic than he is off. I'm guessing. Presumably, maybe that's wrong. Yeah. And we aren't really either. We're just different people. So I mean, that's another thing too, is I'm not going to be Pete Holmes. So what does it mean for me to be comfortable with somebody. I thought you did a good job with Joel being you. I mean, you're
Sure.
not going to walk around saying shit on my dick like Pete does all the time.
Yeah, that just, I hate that phrase. So thank you for saying it on our show.
You're welcome.
It just grosses me out.
Yeah. All right. So,
I mean, do you feel that way? Do you tense up or like get overly serious when talking to guests that you don't know, or do you feel pretty much the same?
I think there's a definite, and obviously people notice it, there's a different way we talk and I talk to people that we don't know. So I think it's more about getting over the fanboy thing. Like when we talked to Drew, it was just like we kept it about Dredge stuff we wanted to know about, and kind of was, I mean, he would have been plenty fine being as open or silly as we wanted to probably, but
Sure.
But then when it's someone we know, I feel far more like if I could close the gap between the type of conversations I have with people I know really well and people I don't, that seems like the key. Because and it goes back to also just like skipping kind of the bullshit. Like, you know, when I think about our interview with Drew, I'm like, we could have gone a different direction instead of fanboying over Dredge specific things.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't really regret it how it went, but I mean, we could have gone somewhere potentially a lot more interesting for ourselves and everybody else, you know?
Sure. Yeah, it's kind of each one has been a learning experience, at least with guys like that. Because,
right.
I mean, if we ever had him on again, then it would be like, okay, we just jump in and we have a little more rapport and can act as friends and not disassociated people.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Ink and Echo, learning how to podcast on a podcast. Hey, everybody. We're going to put out our curriculum, our podcast tutorial curriculum. Andy's going to do some videos, and they'll be, it's how to use pedals on your voice for a podcast.
Oh my gosh.
It's how to do a pog on your speaking voice.
Oh my God.
And you can sound like a Bane in the third Batman movie.
Oh, I love these jokes. I love them so much. All right, Josh, is your movie done or what?
Ooh, baby. I would. So here's the thing. I get fearful about talking about my movie for 42 episodes.
Well,
because none of our listeners have seen 1 second of it yet. And so it's like, hey guys, isn't this interesting? This thing you can't look at and haven't seen and have no point of reference for.
The interesting thing is you going through the thing. So we're continuing to follow you through your
Josh
damn
is going
thing.
through the movie process of making movies.
So answer the question. Is it done? Yes. You got to use 2 hands on
Okay,
that.
it was on the side. So it is closer than ever.
Well, hasn't it? Well, okay. I won't make the joke.
There's done and there's done and there's done. It's done, but it's not third tier done.
But it's second tier done.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You're rounding third.
Yeah,
and you're
just rounding that plate, getting
rounding
down
the plate,
to home base.
You're gonna bunt all the way home. That's
fly
ball
kind of a bunt
right
guy.
into second baseman.
And the crowd's gonna be going wild. Go ahead.
Okay, no. So you told me it was gonna be done this past weekend, and then Monday, and then. So what are you doing? What's the problem? What's your deal?
Well, Trevor and I the reason I wasn't on last episode, as you say, I think, was because I was coloring with Trevor, coloring in color books. We
got some adult coloring books.
Yeah, those mandala ones that are like the Zen coloring.
I don't know why that's so funny to me.
Both got super high and just like laid on the rug, on the floor, on our tummies, and anyway. We were color
love that.
correcting my motion picture film, and by the end of the day, it was like, oh man. Well, long story short, we worked for 4 days straight on it, and we're still tweaking it up.
By the way, personal-ish question for you.
Yeah.
You did that on Sunday, which was Mother's Day.
Oh, yeah.
You say that you were working all day. How does that work? How did that go over?
Emmy and I have established pretty early in our marriage that we don't give a shit about like Hallmark holidays.
Okay.
And I, by principle, whether this is hurtful or not, I do not say anything to my parents on Mother and Father's Day.
Whoa.
I feel maybe it's snooty. It probably is, but I'm just like, that's a fake holiday. I'm not giving into that shit anymore. I'm not going to be obligated to something that was created just to be obligatory and sell cards. Not doing it.
Okay, but how? Okay, so
not doing it.
Wait, your two siblings probably said Happy Mother's Day to your mother.
Oh, I'm sure they did,
and I'm sure she's counting on her hand. She's like, I got one, I got two, and then there's just that middle finger left from my son.
Yep.
And she's waiting by the phone. She's checking the mailbox, and there's nothing. I feel like you've got to go in with your siblings.
I do not feel that I do have to.
Because it's just worse when it's 2 out of 3.
Totally. Yeah. Well, that's
I mean,
that's me.
I agree with you like on principle, but I'm not going to risk anyone's ire. Wow.
Huh,
I mean,
interesting.
I didn't do anything specific for Megan other than I like let her go. Not that I like let her keep her in the house, but like she just had a whole afternoon by herself and I hung out with the kids. That's interesting to me. I mean, good on you. And also, I don't know, man, that's weird.
It is. It always fills me with a little, like I notice it in my gut that I'm like, I probably should, but I'm not going to. And it might be hurtful, but like 3 days later they'll forget. So yeah, I guess in this case I am a bit of an asshole, but I just can't do it.
So what other holidays are on your ignore list?
Valentine's Day.
Okay, I'm down with that one for sure.
And
so Father's Day must be here too,
right? And even
and so does that mean you don't expect anything on Father's Day from anybody?
Oh, I'll take it one further. I won't accept anything.
Oh, interesting.
Emmy and Olive make me a card, straight to the trash. Just kidding.
Paper shredder right there in front of them.
Let's see. Oh, okay, here's one. So this is funny. Trevor this year and I were talking in April, I guess. In fact, I think we hung out either on Easter or the day before, and he knows that Emmy and I are Christians, and he's like, "Yeah, you guys doing anything for Easter?" And we're just like, "Nope," because now not to confuse that as necessarily a made up holiday or a Hallmark thing, but I am a bad Christian apparently because it honestly means nothing to me at all. Like not on the American side, the whole Easter bunny egg shit, and not the resurrection of Christ. I can't. Maybe someday that'll change in my heart, but sure. It even that just feels a little like, oh my goodness. I've had Christian friends, not to put them down or anything, but I've had people text me on Good Friday and just be like, "Happy Good Friday."
Whoa,
and honestly, my reaction was like, "Are you kidding me?" That just felt so corny and forced, and but they're probably sincere. That's fine. I'm the asshole in this scenario, but anyway, that was a lot of me talking. But
no. I want to dig into this still. So are you not down with like the symbolism in general? Which does that mean? I mean, Christmas seems like it should feel the exact same as Easter to you then, for the most part.
I mean, Christmas, unfortunately, yeah, I mostly view it as just more the
Same.
family centric holiday, not really religiously centered.
Right.
Because I don't know, even the origins of these things is kind of iffy, and it's fine. It's fine for believers to celebrate in a religious form on those days, but to me, at least at this point in life, they don't hold anything extra.
Okay, so that brings me to my question about symbolism. Like, does symbolism in general not mean anything to you? Because that's what the whole church calendar is. I grew up in like a liturgical thing, and I don't even necessarily mean this about religion. It's just like, I mean, the symbolizing mothers on Mother's Day or your relationship on Valentine's Day is kind of the same thing. Just so what is the extent of your or is that even a true statement to say like symbolism doesn't seem to mean much for you? Would you say that's true or no?
It's honestly something I don't think about very much.
But would you agree that that's what those holidays are? It's like,
well,
so I don't. Maybe that's the wrong way to put it.
That's actually kind of a better way to view them than I ever have viewed them. Like that really has not occurred to me before.
I mean, I think that's the ultimate purpose. I mean, because when I was, in the Episcopal Church, the church calendar, it was always some sort of season of something. And Christmas is 12. It's literally 12 days long. It's its season, and then Lent, and all the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually liked that and still do.
Right.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to put too many things together. They don't necessarily need to be connected. But I don't know. I just think it's interesting. I mean, I mostly agree with you. Christmas has a comfortable feeling to it because of previous family memories and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Easter doesn't. Thanksgiving, sort of, kind of is interesting, but.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly it just gets complicated and annoying. Not annoying, but just like stressful. So I'm mostly there with you, but I did go to lunch with my mom and buy her some beers for Mother's Day. So
there you go.
To bring it around full circle, it would not be good if I didn't do something on Mother's Day. So I'm surprised that you do that. That's interesting.
See, and that what you did is a good thing to do. If you're given an extra occasion in the course of a year to do something nice for your mom, like great, that's a good thing.
So you don't like being told to do it on this certain day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's in my my problem with authority. The authority being some ambiguous person who made up this holiday years ago, but
right.
But yeah, just the expectation of like, you better say something or you're going to be a shitty son. That I'm like, nope, I'll just be a shitty son if that's how it's going to be. Yeah, it's a curious thing.
You just cross your arms with a big old frown on your face. Nope, not today,
go
Mom.
around with some defensive posturing all day. Nope. Not going to do it. That symbolism stuff. So on a sort of different note, I mean, church calendar, I actually kind of like. Our previous church, Emmy and I stuck to that, and it was that I view as just more of it's just a practicality, sort of a reviewing of the same material through the course of a year, and that regularity I think can actually be healthy.
Sure.
Unrelated to holidays, but just sort of...
Well, and knowing that there's a large group of people going through the same thing at the same time is cool.
There's unity in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
We don't have to go too far into this, but the thing I appreciate about the calendar is it forces you to go through ups and downs throughout the year. So it's like Lent is a very... And I don't know if there's any other institutions or examples I could use of something like this. I mean, maybe sports could honestly be a good example. Like there's the football season and then the other sports seasons. I don't even know.
Right. Sure.
But it's like Lent is a very somber time. Like at least in the Episcopal Church, it's like we're not going to say Alleluia at all during the service.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
And Good Friday was always a cool service in the Episcopal Church because they like literally strip the altar. There's no music. There's very little light. They make it like super somber,
sure.
it's like supposed to be.
Play some lowercase noises in there.
Maybe, I don't know. But and then I've been, at churches where they have a Good Friday service and it's the same boring ass worship songs they do the whole rest of the year. And it's just like you can't bring it down for like one night on the night where you're celebrating someone really important being killed. You still want to be like raising your hands in the air and dancing and stuff, like
singing that hill song. Woo!
Ugh. So I appreciate that about the church calendar. There's an actual season instead of, I don't know what, this is maybe a boring conversation, but
I don't think it is. Yeah. Oh boy, I was thinking too many other thoughts to properly respond to that. I was listening to you. There was, oh boy, this is going to make you cringe. There was a church that I went to in Albuquerque where, churches, right?
Sure, damn it.
Where on Easter Sunday, in the middle of the songs, the worship leader, he just goes, you know what? Turn to someone and just shake their hand and say, "He is risen."
No.
And I just, my countenance fell, you might say. And so of course I was next to some little old lady.
It's like someone sprung Mother's Day on you. You're like, hey, you got to do something for your mom right now. And you're like, damn it, no.
Where it's like all of a sudden you have Easter homework. And it's like, wait a minute. And I just, I'm not, there's nothing technically wrong with that. Of course there's nothing wrong, but I don't think that you should put everyone in the entire congregation in a position to, maybe disingenuously half-ass a phrase that they don't really mean. Or, if someone's just visiting and they don't even know who Jesus is, it's the first time they're in church and they have to like turn to someone because of this obligational thing a bald guy just said on stage with a guitar. I don't know. I'm not down with that. And even to me, like, yes, I believe in Jesus, but I don't want to say some corny ass shit like that. It's so silly. That's not me. That's, anyway.
Oh, dude, you tell me, you'd say he is risen to me all the time. You texted that to me this morning. That was all you said.
You're right. He
is risen.
And I'm just always...
Good morning, Andrew. He is risen. This is what you texted me this morning.
I think it was good morning, brother, that I said.
Good morning, boss. He is risen.
And I always end my text with an amen or with like a go in peace.
And then an eggplant emoji. So you just don't want to be told what to do, ever.
I guess that is the theme here, isn't it? I have a very hard time with authority.
Okay, are there any situations in your job where this comes up? I mean, because the definition of a job is someone telling you what to do.
Oh boy.
Are you deciding what to say? Or are you coming up with something to say?
Oh no, I'm just thinking about that. I know there have been occasions. I will, anytime there's a pretty prescriptive demand or a requirement on me, I will push against it as far as I can, like bend the rules and maybe break them.
And not in a passive way, like directly saying something. Okay.
Because usually it's like internally I'm thinking this is a bunch of bullshit, and
you just clean it up a little bit and let it out of your mouth. Okay.
Well, it's like a quiet defiance. I don't know why that's so funny. I'm like Daniel Craig in the woods running from the Nazis. Just defiance, baby. That's a obscure reference. There is a motion picture called Defiance. I just shouldn't have referenced it anyway.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I can't think of a specific example. Well, I can think of something in high school where I used to do the morning news. We had a closed circuit TV. There was a TV in every classroom,
Right.
and every morning we would do the school news. And I had a great voice and a charismatic delivery. So I got to be one of the anchors, and me and the other anchors would usually, joke around at the end, or like we'd try to get off jokes within the
You're
the
trying
news
to get
itself.
a stinger in there.
So,
It sounds like
yeah,
what it's
just trying to get some laughs, just riffing, yes-anding. Comedy comes in threes. So one morning, the sort of teacher woman who headed over the whole broadcast stuff, she's like, "You guys need to be more professional." She was like, "No more joking around, and let's just close off, real professional." And so this was so disrespectful. I actually regret doing this, but so we did the whole show, and I read the copy. And then at the end, in a completely over-exaggerated voice, I was just like, "And here's our professional ending. We're being real news anchors over here, real professional over here. And that's the news for today." Or so, I just riffed on it for way too long. And then this poor woman, she was very sweet. We come out, and she was just sitting at a desk, like with her head down.
Yes.
Because it was it was wrong of me to do that. And I mean, they let me keep doing it. She never said anything. She never referenced it. But so,
So
in
you
that
won.
way,
You won.
I guess I won that battle.
You got a taste of it, and you're like, I'm going to be anti-authority for the rest of my life.
I got power hungry at that moment. That's when Josh was birthed.
Okay, so we've talked
ahead.
about church, your job. Okay, how does this play into your relationship with your wife?
That is its own beast, I guess. And Emmy, well, I guess I would just say I'm more accommodating to her than
as
to
you
most
could
other
be.
people. Right. But oddly enough, I mean, specifically when Olive was born and our parenting styles started to clash for uncertain things, there would be times where I'd just be like, "No, I'm not doing that." Or like, if you want that done with her diapers that specific way or something, you do it. And it wasn't like a "fuck you, I'm out of here," but it was just like, "Emmy, you're obsessing over something ridiculous that doesn't need to be done." So I guess, it's a little milder, but I kind of put my foot down, I guess. And I'm
Now,
not usually that forceful. Anyway.
Does that work though? Like in my mind, I don't feel like I do that stuff very often or much at all.
Sure.
But I feel like if I did, that would just it would almost like it would turn into the opposite or basically opposite of what you're talking about. Like if I tried to do something like that to Megan, she would then feel like you do and be like anti-authority to me, and it would just make the whole thing way worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So how does that work?
It has and it hasn't. I'd say the majority of the time it has worked.
Like she agreed and said, "Yeah, that is a stupid thing to worry about." You're right,
think
Josh.
because
I love you so much. This is so good.
I think because I so rarely push back like that.
Okay.
Usually I'm chill. I'm fine with her kind of setting the way the house runs or whatever. I don't know.
So you build up some chips, so to say, over the time, and then you cash them in every once in a while.
Cash them,
You're
going
like,
to
"Honey,
the bank,
guess
laughing
what?
all the way to the bank."
Guess what? No. You flip a coin, you say, "You take this one, I'm cashing it in. No diapers for daddy tonight."
Right. Yep.
Great.
And she does get the majority of the chips, I would say. Usually I lean in her direction. I just want
Good.
to play a little Hill song.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
I think
you were playing a G
that's the one.
and then a D.
That's the one. And then guess what? C.
Oh, hell yeah. No, you got to add the 2. That's a worship chord.
Man, I'm soloing over here. And then let's get an A minor in there.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, it's getting dark. This is Good Friday. The chord E minor.
Oh no.
Oh no, that's not right.
What?
What should have come after A minor to make it sound a little more?
What? You can play a B minor.
Oh, that's a tough one. That one took me forever to
You
learn.
gotta do a little bit of a bar. You almost got it.
My guitar is laying on my lap. This is good podcast content over here.
Oh boy. I can match you, dude.
Maybe we should do an ad.
Okay.
An advertisement.
All right. Great.
Andy, son of a bitch. I'm tired of changing my goddamn guitar strings.
You know what? Me too.
Well, it's just too hard to do, and it takes forever. You gotta put on some Netflix and not even watch it closely because you're changing your dang strings and you're poking your finger with the sharp end of them.
Ow!
Man, yeah, exactly.
That's
Common
what it sounds
problem.
like.
Well, I'll tell you, some old buddy our sponsor today, has come up with a way that it's a little package that still looks like normal guitar strings, but you grab it by the corner, and so okay, your guitar is just leaning in the corner, stringless. It's just naked as the day it was built, and you get these strings, which they'll say the name in a minute, and you grab them by the corner and you just fling it over there like a little frisbee, and kapow, blammo, and boom,
And
it's
they're
all
just on
strung. There? It's all strung in Z up. And,
So it sounds like it's using the same technology as those slap bracelets from the 90s.
yeah,
right?
very similar. It just and goes right into place. You don't have to mess with the tuning.
Oh my
forks.
gosh.
What are they called?
Pegs?
Yeah, thank you. And
Now tell me, Josh, does this work on any old guitar, or are we talking something specific here?
We got lap steel, acoustic, electric.
Oh boy.
The Hawaii one, the little, what is that?
Ukulele?
Uke. The uke. We got some uke strings. We got a stand-up bass. We got a violin strings over here. We just all the
You just
strings.
toss 'em on.
Piano's a
Whoa.
big one. Yeah, you got to have a big old package for that one. But and so what this is called is a flinging 'em up string company, stringing you up.
It's called Flinger Stringers. Fling a string.
We're
Stringer
just
flingers.
flinging strings all over this dang place over here. Bring us your instruments and we'll get them all strung up. And so here's the downfall. Is
Should
that
we be
these
saying
strings?
this in an ad?
Well, they're just trying to be honest about their product.
Let me guess. There's a slight risk of if someone's in the way when you toss your strings at the guitar, that you could poke an eye out. You could lose your eye. That's what I'm guessing.
It's more like it'll just string whatever's in front of it. So it'll whip,
interesting.
Yeah, it'll whip out and wrap around them like when somebody gets tied up on the railroad tracks. Their just entire body is covered with guitar strings. So that's no good. Don't fling them around your babies or your dogs.
Let's turn it around here. Like, a lot of ladies keep mace in their purse. I mean, men probably do too.
There you go.
Yeah, just imagine you get a little stringer flinger. That's what this is called? What?
Yeah, fling
a string.
That's it.
You just get it. It's a little small package, and if you get hustled or bustled by somebody, you just
if you get hustled by a mobster, yeah,
you say, "Hold on, I'm getting my wallet," so you can steal it, and then they're all of a sudden covered in guitar strings and unable to pursue you.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, thanks so much, Flinger Stringers. You're gonna save some lives and string some instruments.
All right.
Excellent.
Great. Excellent. Okay, so maybe we should bring this whole story back around, because I started talking about Mother's Day because you were color grading your film.
Right.
And then we went down that whole thing. So
wow, we sure did.
You spent all of Sunday color grading your film, and that's what's taken so long? Just the color grading?
Yeah, basically. Well, and there were two.
I want you to
scenes that
explain it to
needed-
me, because I don't know. Okay. Oh yeah. So CG stuff and color grading.
Yeah.
I would love to know more details about it personally, just because I don't know how this stuff works.
Yeah. Well, color grading. So Trevor has two super fancy monitors. I couldn't tell you the specs. I have no idea. But anyway, they're supposed to present color perfectly true. You know, a typical monitor or a TV, it's going to have different settings. And anyway, these are just supposed to be as pure as possible, so you're getting the right color tones. But it's basically like we go scene for scene, and we just start to mess around with the reds, blues, and greens and set different filters on there and just give the film a consistent look. And some scenes were too dark or too overexposed, and so it's just bringing everything to a level, to a middle ground, you know.
Gotcha.
And every movie is color graded, some more extremely than others. Like Marvel movies are everything pops and it's vibrant, and some movies are more muted, or so, you know. Anyway, it's really a fascinating process, and Trevor knows a lot, and he was even able to buy, so they have digital packages that mimic the film grain of certain film stock. So he found out what Pulp Fiction was shot on and bought that exact film grain to add on top of our film.
Wow.
So
so did it do you feel like it did that job well?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to look great. And what's weird about that maybe people outside of the film world don't think about, is it actually, even though the movie was shot super crisp, that this actually kind of not blurs it, but it gives it a little imperfection on purpose.
I mean, that kind of gives it a cinematic feel. Right. Wasn't that the issue with Peter Jackson in the Hobbit movie? Like it was too high res and people were like, this looks freaking weird.
Yeah, that had to do with frame rate. That it doesn't look natural to our eyes to see 48 frames per second.
So your goal was to literally make it look older than it is.
Right.
So with you did the film grain, and then what was there like a certain color scheme you were going for with the coloring, or certain like did you come in saying I want it to look more this color or that color, or was it just okay? Yeah,
essentially. I mean, we did fade it some on purpose, decolored it, and just gave it a little bit of almost a yellowish, brownish hue.
Gotcha.
So it's not extreme. You can, there's still plenty of color, but it just makes it feel a little bit dated and from another time and more fitting of the era of the story. So cool. It's been really fun. And there's even things like in the car scene, we had a bunch of like jostling around because we were actually moving. So Trevor had to stabilize certain scenes. He had to shift around the frame if our heads, like the top of our head gets cut off from the shot.
Gotcha.
He can reposition it around and do all kinds of stuff. And then the CG, I can't say one of them because it will spoil the movie, but
sure.
Well, I guess it wouldn't do much to describe either of them, but honestly, it amazed me that Trevor knew how to do these things. He's just so prolific with all these programs, and it's like being skillful at any one of them is someone's entire job, and he knows pretty well how to use most of them.
You got lucky with your neighbor there, Josh.
No kidding. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of unreal how that we moved right next to each other and ended up doing this whole thing together.
Yeah.
So anyway, I told Emmy, this makes me feel sick, but it's no big deal. It's been almost a year since the very beginnings of working on Cordial Kill.
Wow.
Because in June of 2016 is when I started writing the script. So,
dang.
I mean, granted, I know I've said this before, but if I hadn't edited it myself, we probably would have been done by now. But I'll take it as a learning experience. Like the next movie, I'll just know how long movies actually take to get done.
Yep. That's great.
So
this week then, surely it'll be done, right?
At least Trevor and I's end, and then we have to email it off to the sound mixer, which he has said will take about 2 weeks.
Cool.
So
and then it's
really
done.
hope, then it is
done.
truly done. Yeah, and I can render it out in full quality and just be done with it.
Awesome.
And man, that's gonna feel good, and then it will immediately feel bad because then I'll have to start on something else. So
I know how that feels.
So and I will say to our listeners, like I do truly, well, not I hope, you will get to see this movie eventually. I have to give it to the Kickstarter backers first, but because they pay for it.
You get to give it to the Kickstarter backers first.
Yeah. But yeah, so all that to say, there will be a payoff to all this talk we've done, and
you're going to do like a premiere in Denver, hopefully, right?
Oh yeah,
people can come to
on a real movie screen.
They could have you sign their podcasting app. They'll walk up with their cell phones and a Sharpie and say, "Can you sign?
I'll sign
my
the face
RSS
of your iPhone
feed?"
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Fun stuff, Andy.
Great stuff here on the Ink and Echo podcast.
I really don't like being asked how my day is going or how my weekend. We don't have to dwell on this for a long time, but I just it's sort of like something else culturally common that I rebel against.
So if you don't like people telling you what to do, so when someone says "have a nice day," are you like, you know what? I'm gonna have a fucking shitty day now because you just told me that. And plus, that was a worthless thing to say, you jerk. That's what you do, huh?
Well, I mean, my thoughts are that extreme sometimes, but no, if somebody tells me to, I just, here again, that's kind of, at least in America, that's a cultural obligation that we've, for some reason, adopted.
Means
of putting on this facade that's just like, have a great day. How you doing today? Oh, good. I'm just good. Everything's cooking. Hot damn, I feel good today. Woo! And meanwhile, you're like going through a divorce and
you're having a panic attack.
I just don't feel the need to go along with that. And I've made some people feel real uncomfortable or weird because...
All right, story time. Tell me one of those.
Oh, gosh.
Like you just answered truthfully? We sort of talked about it a little bit, but...
No, I mean, if it's somebody I don't know well, I'm not going to just dive into a story. But
you're going to get there, though. I bet you will. I bet within 10 years, a stranger asks you how you're doing today, you're going to be like, well, man... I hate my life.
I'm just
and I
like,
hate my job. And
let me tell you how my day has been.
You'll have that guitar on you.
It's been pretty Spanish, I guess.
Excellent. I've had a quite Spanish day, actually. Okay, so story time. Tell me what.
Well, of course, now I'm probably not going to be able to think of a specific example, but this is not very kind of me, but guys at work will just be like, "Hey, Josh, how was your weekend?" And I'll just be like, "Fine," and I won't say anything else, and I won't ask them how their weekend was.
Well, but the funny thing is, they're probably satisfied with that answer. Like that's part of the problem too. Is like don't ask how people's weekend was unless you actually care how their weekend was.
because people have been trained to also not listen to the answer, or you go to a restaurant or get your coffee or something, and people are like, "How's your day?" And it's like, you don't give a shit.
I'm putting the pieces together now because this is like a tiny Mother's Day to you. Like someone asks you a question and there's like a specific answer you have to give, and you're like, damn it, why you're making me say this thing right now? And I don't like it.
Yeah.
Even if you had a great weekend, you'd be like,
right.
Fine. If I had a fine weekend, you'd be like, but that's what you want me to say. I have to say fine. And that sucks. Right. Now I'm figuring you out.
Yeah. Now on the flip side, and Andy, you've been with me when I've done this. I actually honestly do. So the reason it bothers me is because it's disingenuous and it feels fake. It's unnecessary. But I, having worked in food service, I will actually try to talk to cashiers and waitresses and whatever, and just be like, hey, how's your shift been? And, I try to phrase it and posture it in such a way that's like, actually, I do care and I will listen to your answer. Like, just trying to get some connection there. That appeals to me very much.
Yeah.
And some people respond really well to that, and they're surprised. They're like, oh, wow, this person is listening.
Do some people get freaked out though? Like they're like, I just wanted to stay in my world where I have the one question and you have the one answer and it's always the same, and now you're messing this up.
Yeah. Yep. It happened the other morning. I was ordering a burrito at a breakfast place.
And you said, so burritos, huh? They're so good. I love these burritos so much. Thank you for making them for me.
She had helped the guy in front of me and was really dismissive and rude and kind of shitty to him. Granted, this was about 6 a.m.
Prime burrito time. Yeah.
And I came up and she's like, what can I get for you? Kind of mumbled it out. And I was just like, having a rough morning. I didn't say it in a jabby way. I said it in like a, hey, I've been there. And that kind of snapped her out of it, actually. And she, then we talked a little bit, and it was great. It's like,
nice.
just knowing that she has been seen, and that I'm not just some other, person who's going to dismiss her as the gatekeeper to my burrito. I just like to realize that those are people that we're interacting with, and it doesn't have to be dismissive and empty.
Yeah, that's great. So you're not a complete jackass. This has been quite the roller coaster of learning about Josh on this particular ep.
I try to be a not jackass to those whom others are the... I phrased that horribly. I know that people like that probably get shitty customers all day long, and people who don't care about them. So I try to be kind.
So you're once again trying to buck the trend.
Bucking it.
That's the through line on this whole thing.
If I see a trend coming up, I'm like,
buck it.
I'm gonna buck
Mother
this thing.
Bucker.
I'm gonna get on my boots and just ride it down to the...
These boots, they were made for bucking. That's what I say.
That's me, man.
All right. I think we should talk about one more thing and then get out of here. And
cool.
I want to say, today is the day that Chris Cornell died. We found out that he died.
Oh my gosh, I wanted to talk
Jesus
about that too.
Jesus Christ, dude! Like, and I don't know if you saw, but apparently it was suicide.
Yeah.
Which is just, I mean, I want to try to follow this story as much information as there is, but I mean, someone like him, the lead singer of Soundgarden and Audioslave, right after a show, playing with Soundgarden, and hangs himself in his bathroom in his hotel.
Right.
It's like, how does that happen? Like, how can someone who's done all that and is still touring with that band and being successful, like, how does that happen? And plus, I mean, this is just selfish. It's just like, God damn it. Like, all, like, the people who are dying, artists who are dying, it's getting ever closer to my people. Like, I would consider this one of my people. It's like, I love Audioslave. I love Soundgarden.
Right.
I mean, it's just like, oh man, I mean, and this is again purely about me, but it's just like, geez, it's all getting closer and closer. It's like we're lemmings and we're all just about to go off the cliff. It's like this is a deluge of death is awaiting us in the rest of this life. But,
I mean, yeah.
I mean, that one hit me
Right.
pretty good today.
Yeah. Yeah. It's super heavy when it's, I mean, I guess it's always unexpected, but someone like that, I mean, he's 52. You would assume he's got another good, like quite a few years to still be making music. And even though you and I were not necessarily keeping up with what he was currently doing, just in some subconscious way, it's like, oh, he's going to be around for a while.
Right.
But yeah, just the thought of finishing out a show and I mean, either it was on his mind for a long time or that was a really quick decision. I mean, it's really hard to say.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see how it could be a quick decision. Like and that's crazy. Yeah. I saw a post on, I mean, of course, you know, everyone's posting on Instagram or whatever. For one, like Tom Morello posting about it was just like, whoa, since they were in a band together.
Right. What did he say? Anything?
Oh, it was just a long thing. I don't remember anything exactly, but it was just, you know, that, and then Richard Patrick, the singer from Filter, which I don't know if you know them, but he posted a big old long story about how he went into rehab for alcohol, and Chris Cornell was there at the same time. They were there for a month together, and like basically Chris Cornell like helped him kick his addiction. And he's like, yeah, man, like this guy saved my life. And like, what? Wow. I don't know. I mean, again, this is just yet another example of where does your happiness come from? It's not obviously from fame or money. We have a million examples of that, but it's still, even knowing that fact cognitively, it's like, how can you fathom him wanting to do that after, or really at all, but much less right after a big, you know, show for Soundgarden. I don't know what else to say other than I don't get it.
Right. Yeah. It's heavy stuff, and it I mean, it sounds like it hits, at least for me, it hits me in a weird way where I can't even, you know, it's like, obviously I didn't know him, right? But it's still, it is a sense that something has just been lost from the world that was a gift or a good presence. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about it, but it's hard to articulate.
Yeah. Well, go listen to some Audio Slave or Black Hole Sun or something.
I do, just on that note, I wish, I know that people are trying to be kind or just reiterate the people that they were fans of, but it does really trouble me that every time a celebrity dies, social media is blasting about it and hashtagging RIP. And I don't know, that seems, and then just, I mean, especially with guys like David Bowie or Prince, then these places re-release all their albums and like a cash grab. You know, it's almost like celebrities dying is an opportunity to sell a bunch more of their shit, and that just that feels really crummy to me. And there's no way to take that back or reverse it now. That is our world. But I don't know. I almost tweeted something today. I know this is so inconsequential, but it's just like, no, I'm not going to do that, because I don't need my voice in there too, saying like, yeah, me too. I loved him. Like, I really loved his music. Even though that's true, at least to my heart, it's like, that's not the place to do it.
The fact that you loved what he did wasn't dependent on you saying it on Twitter. Like, it still is true. And I mean, we talked about it previously, but it's just like all those social media things, like all the, put a flag on your Facebook profile to support X and Y, and it's like,
Sure.
it's all about you, and that bothers me. Like, I don't. Yeah, I did the same thing today. Honestly, it's like I saw all the stuff and people saying R.I.P. and I was like, I should. And then I was starting like, why say that? I couldn't really think of a good reason. I mean, I feel sad and heavy, and I want to go listen to Black Hole Sun like everybody else, but I can't think of a good reason to say RIP on social media. I mean, we're saying it here on a podcast. I don't know if that's much better. And I talked about how it selfishly affected me, but so, I don't know if we're hypocrites or not, but I agree with you.
At least here, we're able to flesh it out a little more, and it's not like we're gonna hashtag Chris Cornell in this episode or something. It's just it's in this of the moment that we're experiencing, and I think that's fine. Okay.
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that's the interesting thing about all this is it is in the moment, and then we're all on Twitter, so we're all on Twitter having the moment, but Twitter is worthless, so don't do the moment there is what I think. So
Twitter is garbage.
Actually,
throw that little bird in your phone trash.
I love Twitter, just not for that stuff. So anyway.
Okay.
Great.
I'll say one last thing and then we'll get out of here.
Okay.
This episode is the answer to life, the universe, and everything.
Great.
Coming back around for some blues. It's funny to think we did this sincerely 10 years ago in Jesse Harden's living room.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Oh man, those were the days, Andy.
This is my roots, dude.
Guys, Andy's pretty fucking good at guitar. Did you know that? I know you wouldn't know it because he plays one note every 20 minutes, but